Michael, to your point, do you have any recommendations for someone that might be a little bit newer in the space and doesn't really know how to establish their baseline? And one of the reasons why I'm asking that is we both have the perspective, and I would imagine some listeners that are listening have this perspective of understanding what it feels like to maybe not have optimal metabolic health and then gaining that metabolic health. And you have such a great understanding of what makes my body feel good versus what foods don't sit well with my body. For someone that's newer in this space, they just don't have that comparison. So I think it's difficult for some people to really understand that baseline. For me, a food journal was super impactful, just writing everything that I was eating, but then also keeping inventory of like my energy levels, my bowel movements when I had ulcerative colitis. And I'm curious if there's anything that you found to be effective to getting that really good baseline that people are looking for.
I think doing carnivore, strict carnivore for 30 to 90 days is an incredible way to, because that really removes all the potential factors. I mean, I've yet to meet anyone who says, "Oh, I'm sensitive to meat." You know, and even if you argue, well, there are those who don't handle, beef very well. Well, get bison. Get some sort of ruminant, and eat only that with water and maybe electrolytes, and do this for 30 to 90 days. And you will feel freaking amazing. Regardless of what your pre-existing condition is, you will notice a significant improvement. And then, you add stuff back, one by one, and you'll notice, suddenly, I'm bloated again. I get gassy. I get, diarrhea. I have heartburn. I have, my skin breaks out. Whatever the case might be, you'll figure out really quick, what does not sit well with you. And in some cases, it might be a combination of two things. Maybe eating bananas all by themselves is fine, and maybe doing, whatever else is fine. Putting both together, or doing it maybe for more than one day. If you eat, let's say if I have bread 3 days in a row, my skin starts breaking out. If I have it 2 days in a row, nothing is going to happen, So you kind of need to play with this a little bit, but I think the best way to establish a baseline is just to eat meat. That's the most, I think, compatible food for humans, and it'll clear you out. It'll fix any gut issues you might have. It'll fix any other kind of inflammatory conditions, and you'll get a really good baseline. My wife, even though we are an animal-based diet, so we are by no means on a standard American diet where we suffer from inflammation and chronic disease and all of that. But even she told me before we went to Costa Rica, she did carnivore for 3 weeks, and she said, the difference between eating only meat and eating some of the other things that we do is night and day. And that was from a already relatively good baseline. Imagine if you're on a standard American diet, if you've never paid attention to what you're eating, and you go on a carnivore diet. Yes, you might have the keto flu in the beginning and blah, blah, but within the first 30 days, you'll feel a dramatic difference, and that is your new baseline. That's my take on it.